Good morning, everyone. I'm looking at the participants for a lot of names I don't know, so it's nice to see some new people I haven't met before. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I've been in real estate 16 years. My daughter is about to turn 16 next week, and I was getting my license when I was pregnant with her. So she's sort of my time capsule in the business. I always kind of gauge by how old she is. And in that time, I had my third daughter too. So, I've kind of was a young mom in the business and built my business over the years slowly, but consistently. So just give me 1 second. Better. Anyway, so in terms of just a little bit of background on me for people that don't know me, I studied hotel management at Cornell, and I worked in the hotel and restaurant business for many years before I got into real estate. My dad was a builder, so I always sort of had real estate on my mind. But I did, worked in luxury hotels, worked in restaurants through high school and college. So I really cultivated a real love of marketing and also service. So I think that has always guided me in this business. And, just basic things like the customer's always right and anticipating their needs. I did a luxury training, I think about a month ago, but I'm not going to talk about that today. It's more just about cultivating business strategies that have worked for me over the years. So my team and I, we're on track right now to do about 70 million this year. So that's by far our best year. I mean, obviously we're doing a lot of things right. I mean, the market has been crazy here. I think a lot of the teams are up, but it's been a real banner year for us. I have 8 people on my team. We have a dedicated marketing manager, a full-time transaction manager, and we have an ISA, an inside sales associate, and then we've got, our buyer's agents. So it's a nice sized team. It's not huge. I purposely don't want it to ever be too big.
And Sarit, if you'll allow me to just chime in, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you mentioned before that you had built your team slowly, and I had thought too when I heard that you were doing this call today that there are people out there that have built their teams faster, and there are people out there that have built their teams bigger, but there's nobody who's built their team where quality has been a hallmark every step of the way. And the team that you've built, and we're so lucky to have you on this call doing this today, because your reputation with both with clients but also with other realtors is really second to none. So your style and the personal touch that you brought your business is one of a kind. And we're also lucky to be hearing from you today. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you. No, I mean, I feel very lucky to be at Keller Williams with a broker like Howard and a team leader like Shannon. I mean, it helps so much in what is such a tough business. I was at Bergdorf. I started my career at Bergdorf, which was like a boutique agency, and then was bought by Cole Banker Realogy. And when that happened, I was out the door because I left the corporate world. I remember having to jump through hoops to get like a custom brochure done. I remember I had like a luxury property and it was new construction. I had to go through like 3 departments to get this brochure made. And I mean, that didn't work for me because I just felt like I wanted to control the process and I didn't have that control. So yeah, Cole Banker was not for me. Keller Williams, I mean, I was a solo agent when I came to Keller Williams less than 10 years ago. I mean, I don't even know what my production was, maybe 7 million. So, I mean, it's all in the numbers. We're doing 70 million this year. So Keller Williams has helped me grow my business immeasurably. So,
and by the way, just one more thing. I think that, the calls that I put together and the topics that I pick, I generally get, 5 or 6 people to come and attend them. I'm seeing you're at 54 already. So your reputation in our office is stellar.
You're so nice. Now I'm getting nervous.
You've got 10 times the audience that I do. So
now I'm getting nervous, Howard.
And you deserve it.
You're so nice. Thank you. So, that was just a little background on my team. And I have an amazing team. Like my right-hand man is Lisa Salerno. I know she's not on this call today, but we went to college together. We've been working together for 10 years. So I really handpick great people. We have very low turnover on the team, something I'm very proud of because we're very picky. I'm picky on who I get into business with. You know, when people say like, what makes your phone ring? I mean, I think the mistake is a lot of agents think, oh, there's like a secret bullet. There's like a secret one thing that you're going to do that's suddenly going to like make your business explode. And it's really so much, it's all the devil's in the details. It's like one of my favorite quotes because it's all those little things that you do every day. You know, I say this all the time, do your actions match your goals? Like, you want to lose 10 pounds, or are you eating a box of cookies and a bag of potato chips every night? Like, are your activities every day, you know, maybe you only want to sell 3 houses this year, and that's great. But if you want to sell 30 houses and, you know, you want to make $300,000, like whatever your goals are, like make sure that your daily activities reflect that. If you want listings, you know, what are you doing to get those? If you want to work with more buyers, what are you doing to reach those buyers? So I think that's, you know, that there is no secret bullet. I think it's grit, it's hard work. You know, I mentioned when I got in the business, my daughter, I was a newborn, and I had quit my job in the city doing corporate sales. And, you know, I kept my full-time nanny. It was very expensive. I went into the office every day. You know, at the time we had floor time, so you get like call-ins. So I did get business that way, but I really started just, you know, contacting my sphere. And I mean, that's been like the engine of my business for always. Aligning yourself with a great office, that was really important. You know, who has the market share, who's doing business in the area. At the time I joined, you know, a premier office that was doing a lot of business. So I think aligning yourself with a great office, which we have here, obviously. You know, I think the first hire is the hardest, even again, if you're not looking to build a team, but that first hire is hard to do because you're used to doing everything yourself, and you think that you can't, you know, I can't let someone else prepare the contract. I can't someone else, you know, meet my buyer at a home inspection. So I think once you get over that, you know, you start seeing your business grow. I mean, farming, I hate minutia, I hate administrative work. So I mean, farming that out was a huge step for me. So that I could focus on what I like to do, you know, sales and clients and making calls. And I love marketing. I mean, I love consulting with friends, like small business owners, like whether they own a restaurant, or I have a friend who's building a design business. Like I love that piece of it. So, you know, for me to farm out the things I didn't like, I mean, I think that's, you've got to put money in to get the money back. And I think a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to spend $200 on that mailer. But I think you've got to really have a budget. Again, what are your goals for the year? If you want to sell 10 houses, you know, maybe you should be, you know, allocating, have a marketing budget. I mean, even in the first couple of years in the business, I always had a marketing budget, and I'll talk more about like things that I've done that have yielded, you know, business. Today with social media, it's so much easier to get a referral, you know. So, you know, I kind of broke down some of the things that I wanted to talk about. One of them, which I think is so many agents in this industry forget about, is agents, the other agents. Be nice. It's so basic, but I mean, a lot of agents don't do it. Be nice. Be nice to the other agents, not because you have an agenda, but because it benefits everyone to have an easy transaction. When you have listings down the road, they want to show your listings. They want to do business with you. If their clients like, oh, you know, Ron, what house do you like? This one or this one? You know, oh, if you know the listing agents on the other end and you have a good relationship and they're going to help you get it done. I mean, I cannot count the number of deals I've gotten done because of relationships with agents on the other end. You know, the other piece of that is referral agents. You know, put them to work. I had a client, I sold her house in Milburn. She went down to the Rumson area and she actually became a licensed agent. She wasn't at the time when I sold her house. We stay in touch. She's now a top broker in that area. We placed referrals with each other. I mean, I placed a referral for a friend in Maplewood that wasn't even a client. She bought a beach house. I got an $8,000 referral check for just making a phone call, for having these good relationships. So what are your feeder cities? Where do you know agents? Obviously, our area is big on, New York, Brooklyn, Jersey City, Hoboken. Like, do you have agents that you're in touch with in those markets? And you can pick who those are, like through referrals, through friends. I mean, they want to hear from you because they want you to refer business to them. So, I mean, to me, when I analyze our business for the year, like what was the source of our business, we got a few deals every year from referrals from, agents in Westchester. I mean, someone on our team has an amazing relationship with a Westchester agent. I mean, she does a handful of deals every year from this agent. And I mean, again, so basic, doesn't cost you anything. On that note too, I also think, like, this is a great example. I had a closing yesterday in Summit, a $1.5 million sale. We represented the buyer. I got the buyer because from a Montclair agent who was working with these buyers. She had 2 offers on my Short Hills listings, and her clients, for whatever reason, didn't get the listings, and they were frustrated. And she said, I'm probably, they would be better served by a good agent in the Short Hills Summit area. And she called me and she said, you were so nice to me when I had offers on your listings. I didn't give her like any insider information, but I took her calls. I was very, shared information. A lot of agents, when you have a listing, like how many offers did you have? It helps guide the buyer, right? When you have a listing and the buyer doesn't get it. And I like to say, well, where, you had 5 offers. Where was my buyer in line so I can guide them? Some agents they won't even tell you how many offers they had. And I do share. I mean, obviously I'm not going to divulge anything that's not ethical to do, but I think, help each other out. So I got this referral from this Montclair agent, and she said, you were so nice to me. I want to refer these clients to you. So, I paid her a 25% referral fee, and I got a nice closing out of it. So again, there wasn't a hidden agenda. I didn't anticipate her referring these people to me, but that kind of behavior, it cultivates more business. So, that's like a basic. I remember years ago, I also had an agent that had an offer on my listing, and her buyers were frustrated. And she's like, you know what? I'd like to refer them to you. It turned out I went to college with the husband, and then I did 3 deals with them. So through an agent referral, I got more business. This is one of my favorite stories. I got a referral from an agent outside our market, like maybe 8 years ago. It was a $400,000 sale. Paid out a referral to her. Wasn't a big paycheck, but those buyers stayed very loyal to me and my team. In that time, we listed their house again. They bought a house in Short Hills, and they've referred us maybe eight people over the years. So, I mean, we have a deal right now in Chatham that we got because it's friends of this buyer. So what I'm saying is, like, don't be small-minded and be like, oh, this isn't worth my time. It's a small, I got to pay a referral fee, it's reload or whatever, because you're planting seeds that then, again, this is about how's my phone going to ring? I mean, things like that are you plant those seeds, you're a couple years in the business, your phone starts to ring. So I can't say enough about cultivating relationships with agents in your market, and then, referral agents. Any questions so far about that? I don't want to just be rambling. Does anybody have anything they want to ask me before I continue?
Sari, what are some of the steps that you take to keep on top of all of these, either past clients or referral clients, any above and beyond, special touches?
Yeah, I'll get to that. Definitely. I'm going to talk about, marketing and, that business, but I kind of break down every year. I kind of look at, and again, if you only sold 5 houses last year, where'd the business come from? What's working for you? So I did want to talk about that. I know this sounds like, maybe not nice, but like older agents in your market that used to do a lot of business that are now, phasing out. Like, I've seen a lot of them join teams. Like they may want a active, tech savvy agent that's, wants their referrals. That could be a great referral source too. I was once on a KW call, and this one agent, like that's their business model. They go after, agents that are, kind of exiting the marketplace, and I mean that works for them. So I mean, I think that's a good source of business. in terms of the client, my goal is always, and this is like my hotel luxury background, like always anticipating, like I want to send them what they need before they ask for it. Like, do you have inspector names? Do you have, I'm always trying to get ahead of that when I'm working with the client. I've heard from people, why they liked working with me. And it's so, again, basic. Sri, you did what you said you were going to do. And I'm like, wow, like what a concept. Like, to me, that's, if they say, please call me at 2, I'm going to call them at 2. Or, if they say, can you meet me at this? I mean, I'm not flaky. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And I think we're in a business where a lot of agents don't have that work ethic and don't have that commitment. So I've gotten listings that way where someone's like, wow, you got back to me so quickly. I think we're just going to go with you. I'm not even going to meet with the other agents. So, doing things in a timely fashion, doing what you say you're going to do. I think that again, really basic, but so important. In terms of like, just, now that I've kind of exhausted the whole be nice referral agent arena, I wanted to I'll talk about just like basic marketing stuff. And again, talking to people that may be, newer in the business. You do have to spend money to make money. And if that, when I started in the business, I really started in my immediate radius of where I lived. I had babies. I was, walking strollers, and I was around. I didn't really know anybody because I came from New York. So it's not like I grew up in Melbourne Short Hills. I really didn't know many people at all. But I started in that small, farming my neighborhood. My neighbor gave me a listing, and then the people down the street got divorced. And the farming works, postcards work. I think especially now in the days of COVID, I think people are sitting at home. I think they like to get something in the mail. I mean, posts are great, and social media is obviously so important too. But you can have a small budget. It doesn't have to be a couple $100. Like, send consistent postcards. If you don't have listings, you don't have sales, you can still send activity in the neighborhood. I mean, there's so many ways. I used to do, I remember I got 3 sales out of this when I was really new in the business. I did like a newsletter. I didn't have many of my own sales, but I did like market stats and, interesting articles and mortgage update. And I did these newsletters every quarter, and I mailed them. Not a huge budget to do it, but I remember I got a couple of sales from it. So, I used to do, when I was, again, before I had a team, I used to do a holiday party at my house. I mean, now with COVID, obviously we have to improvise and do other things, but I used to do an annual cocktail party, and I didn't have a lot of clients at the time. Maybe it was 20 people, but, I did used to do that. I think know your inventory. If you're not busy and you don't have 10 listings, you bump into someone in town. I mean, that's all people like to talk about. Oh, you're in real estate? And then, I know where people live. Oh yeah, there was just a sale across the street from your house, and there were 3 offers, and they got 20,000 over asking. Like, oh, like you develop credibility with people, and that's when your phone will start to ring, because they're like, wow, you really, we thought of you when we thought of real estate, and that's what you want from people in your sphere. Obviously, once you're a few years down the road, like Lauren Schrader on my team, she's been doing this now 4 years, and her phone's starting to ring, because all the things we're talking about, like, people now think about her when they think about real estate in her market. And it didn't happen overnight, but it's beginning to happen. And I think that you want people to think of you. And we get the engine of our business. I mean, we have a marketing manager that does an amazing job with social media and Facebook ads and all that important stuff. But our clients are our salespeople, and they constantly refer us business. And that is referrals from existing clients. I mean, I got a $2.5 million listing in Short Hills from my seller's friend, who referred their friend, because my seller was really happy with me and told this woman in town, I didn't even know who she was. And then I got a phone call for a $3.5 million buyer, and they said, our friend's friend recommended you. So, that doesn't cost anything. Like, it's do a good job for people, your phone's going to ring. So, I mean, that just happened this year. And I mean, things like that, it's like music to my ears, because it's just, You know, it's what you want to be happening. You know, in terms of Maria and staying in touch with our clients, I mean, we do a monthly newsletter. I don't like to inundate my sphere with like, you know, recipes or don't forget to turn the clocks back. Like I'm very calculating in what I, you know, put in front of people. And, you know, I know a lot of agents sort of their strategy is to like flood their sphere with stuff. We do our monthly newsletter. We, you know, have consistent presence on Facebook. We have been doing events, and I'll talk about that, like some of the client events we've done over the years that have been not necessarily real estate related, but have been really well received. So I'll talk about that in a minute. You know, I feel like you want to be a resource for people, and it's not just about, oh, you know, can I list your house? Do you know anybody buying or selling? I mean, those are good questions to ask, but I mean, I had a client, not even a client, a friend in my kid's school that asked me for help with the tax appeal. The pain to do. I sent her comps. You know, 2 years later, they bought a $2 million house in South Orange, and I sold their house in Maplewood for $800,000. So that was just like chatting at the gym, and I helped her out there. I had no agenda. I sent her, you know, real estate attorneys and comps, and she was just so happy with the time that I put into it. You know, that then she referred me business. I have a client now. I mean, this is something I don't do a lot of, but I have a client. I'm doing my 4th deal with her, and we were taking outdoor pictures of her patio. I mean, this was just last week, and she didn't have outdoor chairs. So I said, you know what? I'm going to bring over some chairs for my house. I have these like light plastic, like wicker-like chairs. So I loaded my car and brought them over, and you know, I'm never too busy to do stuff like that. And she's like, Sarit, only you would do something like that. And like, again, like I want the pictures to look good. And I felt like it was an easy thing, but going above and beyond, people remember that. They totally know that. I mean, I had a client, I sold a house in Livingston like years ago. Her mother passed away, and her sister called me, and they're putting the mom's townhouse on the market, and they're not ready to do it. But, you know, she asked me for comps. They needed a title search done. So, I mean, we have this partnership with Acres Title. So I called them, they did a favor for me and pulled the tax, you know, all the tax liens and, you know, mortgage data. Again, no quick sales coming from that, but she was so grateful, and she'll probably refer people. Maybe they will, you know, maybe they'll sell it, maybe they won't. But again, it's like doing things like that. And, you know, I've heard agents that I don't think have a long-term career in this business hear things like, oh, that lead was garbage. It was a waste of time. And I don't see any lead as a waste of time. I mean, unless someone's like abusive. I mean, I have fired people, not a lot, but in like 16 years, I have, you know, maybe fired 4 or 5 clients. And actually half of them came back to refer me business, but that's, you know, we could talk about that another time. But, you know, saying things are a waste, nothing's a waste of time. You're planting seeds, you're cultivating relationships, and that's like how your phone will ring. You know, in terms of, you know, other sources of business, I mean, we all work with vendors. And again, it's not like I say to the mortgage brokers that I work with or the lawyers, like, oh, I expect you to send me business, but, you know, we're feeding them, and it's good to align yourself with obviously vendors that you like, that you trust, that you think will service your clients at a high level, but you also, you know, they should be sending you business. And if they're not, you know, you can ask them why, and what can you do to earn their referrals, because that should be a nice source of business for everyone. I have a listing now coming on in Melbourne, and the woman was in my book club like 8 years ago. I barely remembered her, but she's been watching me, seeing my business grow. She likes my posts, and, you know, I got a referral from that. So again, like just by being in the community and, you know, developing really a brand, you know, I got this listing that way. And again, I wasn't cold calling her. It was just, you know, something that came my way. In terms of events, I wanted to talk a little bit about events. And obviously with COVID, it's you guys can take it with a grain of salt, but just in terms of effective, you know, marketing strategies that have worked. I mean, yeah, when I was in the business, I used to do these early on, we used to do these like little cocktail parties in my own house. You know, after a few years in, we actually last year we did a college planning event, and I had this woman. And my daughter just started college, and I had this woman that helped me that was also did a lot in New York City, and we did this at a house, someone on our team's house, and we had her speak. We had a financial planner. We had maybe 50, 60 people in our sphere came, and they just appreciated it. Like, you're not just about real estate, like you're about the community. And it's, with the market, finances, it's a touchy subject for people right now. And, we did it last fall before COVID, but the market was turning then too. So, things like that, like think out of the box. My team I think we did this for 5 years in a row. We aligned ourselves with a pediatric cancer. It's like a charity, Cookies for Kids Cancer. And one of the heads of it was a woman that lived in town. And we hosted, I think 5 years in a row, we raised over $10,000 each time. And we did shopping vendors, guest speakers, again, not real estate related, but every time we had at least 100 women in the community. And one time we did one of the events at one of our nice high-end listings. So not only are we showcasing a listing to the community, and the seller's happy because we're marketing the house, we're also bringing the whole community together and raising money. So we got tired of doing it because we did it 5 years in a row. But 1 year we did the Taste of the Town. So we got all 5 or 6 restaurants to donate like an appetizer. So then we were also promoting small businesses. I'm a small business owner, so I really like to support the other small business owners. So we did that 1 year, and I think that was a lot of fun. And we gave exposure to a lot of the local restaurants. I did an event. I also did this at one of my beautiful listings that had an amazing view of like the North Pond. We did a women's event there, and people loved that. It was a wellness event, and there were the nutritionist and a meditation person and a stylist. So we did an event there, and they've always been well attended. And I think it's just people get tired of, oh, you're the realtor, you're clawing for business. And of course we're always looking for business, but you also want to be a real fixture in the community that you're servicing and working in. Any other questions so far? No.
I have a question.
Yeah. So Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
Hi. What are
Hi.
some suggestions that you would give for the real estate agent that's short on cash? What resources would you recommend that we use to market ourselves or to better put ourselves out there in a less expensive or more frugal way? Let me put it like that.
Right. I think that you do have to have some kind of marketing budget. And again, it doesn't have to be huge, but you do have to invest in a website. You should have a nice website. People scope everybody out online. I mean, just like anything about a property before you step foot in it. People, they're scoping us out. You want to have a legit website. I think working your sphere, and again, like a lot of the things I just talked about, the events, sure, we had to spend a little money to do that. But a lot of the other things are, connecting with people in your sphere. I mean, when I got in the business, first thing I did was I did a huge database. Anybody I ever knew, people at my kids' school, people that I worked with in my corporate job in the city, my sister's friends, everybody knows a lot more people than they think. Do as extensive a database as you can possibly imagine and throw everybody in there. And, do a monthly newsletter and make it interesting, New York Times articles, staging articles, mortgage broker. I mean, you don't have to mail it because then that's more expensive, but people like to know what's going on. Real estate's even if no one's thinking of buying or selling, I mean, and it's amazing. Like we use our newsletter to make calls because, we hit a lot of people. and we can see through constant contact. We can see who's opening. Sorry, someone was calling me. We can see who's opening the newsletter, and we use that to make calls. And I'm shocked because I'm like, oh, Siri, thanks for calling. We're actually going to reach out. We're moving to Baltimore, and we were going to list our house. So people in your database, Lisa, like you can, if you have a newsletter, you can see who's reading it, who's opening it, who's interested in talking to you. So, I mean, obviously, lead generation goes without saying. I'm sure, you know, making calls doesn't cost anything. Connecting with referral agents doesn't cost anything. You know, all of that is, I mean, that we could do a whole other call on lead generation. Expireds for sale by owners. I mean, in this market, it's interesting because I think sellers are emboldened, like, oh, I don't need an agent, I can just sell my house. And I think the opportunity there is, if you are calling, you know, for sale by owners, is it's not about getting your house sold, it's about getting them more money. I mean, I just had a listing that's under contract now, and it was a 2-unit luxury townhouse, and the seller did for sale by owner for the first unit, got a contract for it, and then listed the second unit with me, and ended up getting 8% more on the price. So he was kicking himself because even with paying your commission, you got me multiple offers. I had 3 offers. I made more money listing the property with you. So I think that's a good talking point. Again, it doesn't cost anything. You're calling for sale by owners. Like, what we do works. And I mean, I've had my own house on the market, and people, you know, think about to sell my own house. I mean, and people would say to me, oh, you know, we'll pay you X for your house and you don't have to put it on the market. And I always practice what I preach, because I always get the most money by marketing and putting it out there. So it drives me crazy when brokers sell their own houses offline. I mean, it's just like, you know, kills me, because it's like, it's what we do makes it, you know, there's real value in the service that we provide. So I think, you know, for sale by owners is great. Your sphere, I mean, know the market, know what's going on. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't going into the office now, but I always like to go into the office because I hear what's going on. Obviously you can work in your pajamas in your house, but you know, you learn things being in the office about the market, about listings coming on. And I mean, with Zillow today, you know, buyers want to work with someone that's in the know. Oh, I know this coming soon, or I know of this house that's sold offline. I mean, we've had a bunch of deals this year that internally in our office we've sold. I mean, that's so powerful. Like we have access to things that you don't have on Zillow, you know? So I think, you know, bringing value to the community that way is really important. Tax appeals, you know, things like that. So does that answer your question? Yeah. Anything else?
Yes,
Any other
thank you.
questions?
I'm sorry I was muted.
That's okay. No problem.
And Sarit started off with, make sure you have a website, but let's not forget that the KW websites are free, so that doesn't cost you anything either.
That's a good point. Yeah, totally. I had a fun, yeah.
Oh, sorry. There is a question in the chat. Did you do any virtual events during COVID from Karishma?
I mean, we did virtual open houses. We have not done any virtual events. We just, yeah, I'd like to hear if anyone's doing them. I'd like to hear, you know, ideas on what that looks like. It's not something that that we've done, but I do think people are at home, and it's easier to get people on the phone. I think people are more likely to talk. I think that there's a lot of, oh, you know, we're going to list in the spring. And I tell everyone, like, all bets are off this season. I mean, there is no cycle to this market that makes any sense, because I mean, our team was busier in July and August than we were, you know, in the traditional May, June months. And, you know, supplies, Howard will tell you, I mean, supplies down what, 50%, Howard? Yeah. So, you know, why are you waiting to put your house on in February? Like that makes no sense. You have a beautiful pool. Why are you closing your pool and then putting your house on in February? So, you know, I think it's on us to educate the people in the market and to know what's going on, because it's waiting. I don't see how that, if I had a house to sell, I'd put it on right now. So, I mean, that's a great way to get a listing. Trying to think what else. I had a client that was years ago. I mean, I remember my team and we were like, oh, this event's going to be a waste of time. It didn't cost us anything. Again, I had a client listing her house. She was actually a TV personality, and her divorce attorney decided to do like an event, like where she was going to speak about being like a working mom, and so we hosted this at her divorce attorney's office, like a breakfast, a women's breakfast. Again, did not cost. All we got was like a couple of bagels and coffee. It was like not. We had like 100 women there because she was a real draw. This speaker, and who was my client. But out of that, and I remember being like, oh, are we gonna get? I remember the people on my team, we were like toying with, should we even bother doing this? And we did the event, and now that divorce attorney and I became connected, and over the years she sent me a ton of business. So again, it's like you don't always know. You think things are going to be a waste of time, and you've got to chase things down and obviously analyze every year. Like, you know, I did postcards, I spent all this money, I didn't get one call. You can't just do one mailer and then, you know, decide that it's not a good source of business. But I do think farming in your immediate neighborhood is the way to go, because I got a listing this year from a postcard that I did, and you know, I could say, oh, postcards don't work, but they definitely do. What else? I think those are kind of my main funds. I mean, again, another one, family members in other industries. You know, my brother-in-law was at Goldman Sachs, now he's at Google. You know, I'm annoying. I say to him, you know, who do you know? Who's leaving the city? Do you have any clients for me? And he's actually sent me people over there, and he's a pretty techie guy who doesn't think like a salesperson. But I ask him for business, and I've had clients who I can't even count how many people they've sent my way. They are so nice. And there was even a woman that my kids go to school with. She didn't even hire me. I didn't know her when she bought and sold, but she just sends all these people to me. And I always send a thank you note. I send, you know, again, you can send them a little gift. You don't have to, but thanks. People like to be thanked. Like, and I mean, put people in your sphere to work. Like, ask them for business, you know, and everyone's got to find what their niche is, like in terms of, you know, if you were a lawyer, you can pitch that you're like a tough negotiator, you know, whatever your angle is and your experiences. But, you know, some people, I used to be a designer, I can stage your house, like whatever it is, but find your point of difference, and work hard. I mean, I'm a hard worker. I have balance. I like to have fun. I've got 3 kids. But I treat this like a business, and it will reward you. If you think you can, you know, work 2 hours a day, and then you're like, oh, why, you know, I don't have any business. Why aren't I making any money? I mean, I don't feel bad for you. I mean, it's a tough business, and you've got to have grit. You've got to have work ethic. You've got to be willing to chase things down. I mean, I have a lot of integrity. I don't steal other people's clients. I'm not a dirtbag. That's not how I operate, and it rewards me tenfold. I mean, again, this agent, she just called me. That I still can't believe that she was working with these clients, and she referred them to me, and I just closed a 1.5 house, and because we had a nice rapport, and it pays off. So those are some of my. Oh, here's another question. Howard. So today's was really about making your phone ring. I mean, I've had other things about marketing luxury properties, and I mean, I think there's a lot to that too. It's like fun stuff to talk about, but I think I've touched on, you know, some of the hot buttons. And again, I mean, I look at my business, and it is 85% referrals from repeat clients or referral from my sphere. And again, that doesn't cost money, but that works. So if your clients have a good experience with you, I think a lot of agents are quick to sell their clients something. Like, I hear a lot, oh yeah, you know, this agent, she didn't tell me that it was a flood zone, or, he didn't tell me, you know, that buying a house with no basement, I'd be impossible to sell. Like I hear that a lot. And like I'll tell people, you can do better. I think we should keep looking. And like they can't believe it. You know, they can't believe that I would say something like that. And but it pays off, and you will earn their loyalty, and then they'll send their friends to you and their siblings and their parents and all their friends. And that's really the heart of growing your business. So what else? I think that's it. Thank you.
Awesome. I second what Lucy just said. You are wonderful to share what has made you so great, to make everyone else that's on this call great as well. So
my pleasure.
We really
it's a fun business. I do love it. I will say I do. It's a crazy business, but it's a lot of fun.
Never boring.
It's very rewarding. I think when I have a few clients right now that I've done 4 or 5 deals with, and they've spanned like the past like 16 years, and it's just, I mean, it's really, they're like family already, and then they're loyal, and you don't even have to sell yourself anymore because they get you, and they, you know, I don't try to be everyone's client, and there's some people I don't even want to work with. Some people I meet and I'm like, I want nothing to do with you. So I'm also picky about who I work with. Not that I turn people away, but you know, I just had, here's another good story. I just had one of my top older clients refer someone to me, and she called me and she's like, I want to see this house. I want to make an offer on it. And I said, she's like, but I'm going to list my house with another agent. And I said, who's the other agent? She's like, well, she's my neighbor. I've known her forever. I was looking at houses with her, but my friend said I have to make this offer through you. So she told me who the person was. And it's someone who I've known for a really long time that actually helped me a lot when I got in the business. And I actually said to her, I'm like, you need to continue working with this person because she's a great agent and I don't want to step on her toes. And she was like, I can't believe you have so much integrity. Like, you don't want to work with me? And I'm like, no, I do want to work with you. I said, I really value my relationship with this person. So again, this just happened last week. And I'm sure a lot of agents would just grab the lead and sell them something, but I couldn't do it and I wouldn't do it. So I think having integrity will, you know, pays you back tenfold. So that's it. So unless anybody has any other questions, that's my.
Sarit, I have. Thank you so
Hi,
much.
Nina.
Yes. Hi.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It is always a joy. I did text it in there to hear you talk. It's so inspirational and motivating. I'm a newer agent. Just any.
I see your name around. You're doing business.
Well, thank you. But what's your advice for you know, one thing for newer agents like me?
Get in touch with your sphere. I mean, put whatever your list. How big is your list?
Sphere would be, you know, 150, maybe 200.
It should be 500. There's no way you don't know 500 people. I mean, that doesn't cost you anything. We're all home now. I mean, I'm sure there are people that they're happy to hear from you. Again, if you're thoughtful about what you communicate to them, I would beef that list up. I mean, my first couple of deals in the business, I found friends didn't use me at the beginning. They were kind of, maybe because I was like a young mom and I had a baby, but I feel like they were like watched me for at least 3 or 4 years, and they didn't send me business, and it kind of made me sad. Like when I would see, oh, why are they selling and they didn't call me? I got business from open houses. People, you know, a lot of open houses and just random referrals. Like through the mailers that I did, I got like an old person from my old job that I worked with that was moving out into this area. So the source of the business was a little bit more random, and then I started getting more business from my sphere. So I would bulk up that list.
I think it's important to realize too, one thing that's very true about this business, and Sarit just made this point in a couple of ways, that you have to realize that when people that you know choose other realtors, And at first it is hard. I was a new agent too, and Sarit was once a new agent. And when that happens, you just have to, even if it doesn't seem like your first instinct, you have to tell yourself, this business will sometimes give me things I don't expect. And then sometimes things that I do expect will go elsewhere. And that's just going to happen. It's going to happen day one in this business and day, 2001. So
so true.
Just know that that's part of the business. And that's why, so like Sarit, doing the right thing last week in her mind and being comfortable herself about suggesting that this person use the other agent, that you can be comfortable telling people that because Sarit knows that in the fullness of time, there will be something that comes her way. It goes around, comes around thing will take place, and she will be rewarded for choosing the right path. And that is the nature of the business.
Right. Absolutely. I see Evgenia had a question. How big is my team and how is it structured? Right now I have a full-time transaction manager. She's amazing. And I've had that position. It was part-time, which was more like an admin. And then I grew it into a full-time position. We have a dedicated marketing manager part-time, but it's like a set, like 25 hours a week. And, she does all that, the postcards, the Facebook. I mean, I didn't touch on social media because I feel like it's very obvious and everyone's in front of, that to me is like low-hanging fruit. Like, sure, you can do Facebook posts and all that stuff. And you should be, but to me, I wanted to more like below the surface of things over the years that have, cultivated real business. So we have a part-time marketing person, a full-time transaction manager, a part-time ISA, an inside sales associate who calls expires. And that's a new position. And she's been great. And, and it's not just like for the cold calling, we also use it and you can do this as a solo agent. If you have a client looking in Summit, 800,000 to $1 million, what's your favorite neighborhood? She will call for our buyers around those neighborhoods. And we sometimes get access to properties that are not on Zillow and not in the MLS. And that brings value to the buyers. Like, wow, we want to work with Evgenia. She's going to find us stuff that's not online. And again, that doesn't cost you anything either to make those calls. So, and I think sellers, people are more receptive. Oh, you have someone actively looking. And so we do a lot of that, the inside sales. And then we have 5 buyers agents that, cover different markets. And I mean, we all cover all the towns, but I think it's nice to have area specialists. I think with people looking now on the train line, they used to only look in one town. I think with the internet, I think buyers have spread out. So I think even if you are a solo agent, being an area specialist, I think is really important. Like, just because you live in Summit, like, you should know Chatham, you should know Madison, you should know Melbourne, because buyers are liars. They don't half the time they don't even know what they want. And they're telling you they want one town. And if you're savvy, you can direct them. And if supply is tight in one town, you can move them into another market. But if you don't know those towns, then, you're sort of stuck just waiting for inventory to come on. So,
thank you so much, Sarit. Just wanted to say that I like and really respect you even more after today's presentation, because
thank you.
You talked about such important things. You said keywords to me: integrity, be who you are, and do the business the way you like to do. And to me, that's so attractive, and it's the best model to follow. Thank you, Sarit.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, I think that's it, guys. So if you have any questions, let's see. What's the best way to get to know other towns? I mean, that shouldn't be hard to do. I mean, preview inventory. If you have buyers, let's just say, we've become well-versed in Westfield because I live in Melbourne Short Hills. I mean, I sell in all the towns, but if I have a buyer looking between 800 and $1 million in Melbourne Short Hills, it's a tough market. So, I tell the agents on my team, like, get to know Westfield, go preview the other houses. I mean, that's really the best way. preview the other houses, and watch the market. Watch days on market. How quickly do things go under contract? Do they have multiple offers? You can online, you can, research the schools. You can fake it. And if you take buyers out, you can look up what's sold, and it's like, oh, that house sold for this. I used to do that. I used to show towns. I had a client once ask me to go to Saddle River, which is like so far. And I remember with a map, because we didn't have like the GPS at the time, and I like plotted where the other solds were, so I could sound knowledgeable. I'm like, oh yeah, that sold for, for 950. I'm like, I had no idea what I was talking about, but you can fake it. And learning towns is not hard to do. It's a little scary because it's like we all have our comfort zone, and I'm not saying like cover 20 towns, but you have clients looking like Maplewood, South Orange, Montclair is there's like synergy there. Chatham, Madison, Summit, Milburn, Short Hills, Westfield, Springfield's a great town, great value. People that are looking in Summit or Milburn and that are frustrated, or Westwood, you can get great value there. So know those towns. I think it's not hard to do, and it can really help you convert some of those leads. What's the best way to access someone's motivation? You mean like just buyers or sellers? I mean, I think you can tell pretty quickly. Obviously, I'm sure you guys are all doing buyer consultations. So again, buyers, half the time they don't know what they want, and it's not malicious. They just say, oh, I'll never live on a busy street, and then they end up buying on a busy street. So I think knowing upfront what their parameters are is really important. And after you've shown them, you've gone out twice, like, let's revisit your parameters. You said you wanted X, Y, and Z. We've had houses that have had that. Can you share some feedback with me? And I think keeping them, I mean, to go out for months with buyers without feedback, I mean, I think you're doing them a disservice and you. So I think it's after, I just went out with buyers on Sunday, and I said, I emailed them Monday, the wife liked one house, the husband liked the other. And I said, what do you have continued interest? What was your feedback? So, kind of put the ball back in their court. Like, well, what did you like? What didn't you like? And then next time, though the kitchen was too small and then they want to see a house with a small kitchen, I send them the floor plan. I'm like, this has a small kitchen. Are you sure you want to see this? I mean, some people are squirrely and really hard. I have clients that are impossible to nail down, but I think just, put the questions back on them. I mean, they're so quick to ask, show me 10 houses, send me this. What about this? What about that? What about that? And, they want everything in rapid fire. So I put it right back on them. Sellers too. I mean, I've had some listings that I probably should have given back, but I think if the motivation with the seller is not aligned with the market, I mean, you're never selling the listing. So something's got to give, right? Their motivation has to change, or the market has to improve. I mean, I had a really tough listing this year that I finally sold, but the market perked up and their motivation increased. So I was able to finally, their motivation finally connected with the market. So there has to be an alignment. If there isn't, then you're just going to keep kicking your tires, unfortunately. So. Such nice comments. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Well, this was fun. So I hope everybody has a productive week. Be safe. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me. You can email me or text me. Happy to share. I always share.
Awesome, Sarit. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.